here because it already owns the roadway. And this is not, I think Ms. Cameron suggested this is somehow would be some sort of legal battle. This is black letter Alaska law, and it has been for over 30 years. I'm sure that the borough's attorneys and legal can direct them to Widener v. State, 860 P. 2nd, 1205. That's from 1993.
Sir, can I have you wrap it up, please? Sir, can I have you wrap it up, please?
Thank you, of course, Madam Mayor. Yes, Madam Mayor, of course. Thank you for your indulgence. The bottom line is that this is an unnecessary, unfair, and unwise transaction that benefits one person and elevates their interests over the borough itself and all of the borough residents. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We have another person online. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm James Raptor, a property owner close to the proposed land exchange. Thanks for the opportunity for my comments. I think the public comment duration was not long enough, considering all the Big Lake property owners that this has impacted. They have only notified people within 600 feet, and a lot more are impacted. Also, the IM 22096 states that all the public comments submitted, the deadline would be part of that package. But I looked at that package online, and only 3 of the public comments were included. So I'm not sure if it hasn't given the public a chance to review the public comments and make comments or speak at this meeting with those public comments as part of them. It would be nice if they were able to repackage that IM 2269 or 96 with all the public comments and get it reposted. Other landowners and I oppose the MSB land swap on Big Lake to a developer who build a road to it for any future development, subject only to the limited MSB restrictions for development. The land exchange mostly benefits the land developer involved in the exchange. He is getting paid about $24,000 for land to expand existing easement across his property and trade for the exclusive sole source right to buy 15.31 acres of irreplaceable Big Lake property with about 1,500 feet of lake frontage at the MSB tax appraisal value. Included in this uneven deal is the reclassification of Big Lake land. It is currently classified as public recreation land, and that classification will remove to allow unlimited development within the MSB code. IM 22096 note that this reclassification is because the land would be too costly to develop by the MSB, but 25.05.100B12 land classification also defines public recreational lands as, quote, potentially valuable to the public as natural or developed recreation. It doesn't necessarily have to be developed. It's still public recreational land. I support the Papoose Road upgrades and development in the Mat-Su Borough, but it should not come at the expense of the loss of Big Lake public recreational land. It is my belief that the exchange is not in the best interest of the Big Lake and Papoose Twin road improvement or the long-term development of the Matanuska Borough. The MSB plan to upgrade the Papoose Road could be more expensive than the available options. Please consider rerouting the start of the road to the existing West Susitna Parkway and turning north along the railroad back to the Papoose Road as one alternate option. This alternate option would be straighter, safer, easier to maintain, which would provide long-term financial savings over the upgrading of the first section of the Papoose roads. Rerouting the proposed road improvements to the West Susitna Parkway makes sense. The land is high, dry, and will be a useful source of gravel for the remaining of the road improvement project. The Papoose Road land exchange is used. Future road improvements for the first few areas will be required to purchase more land across wetlands, across 2 creeks, through bad soils, and will have areas that the road will remain very curvy due to wet area restrictions. This will add considerable cost to future improvements of the road compared to the existing available options and will restrict options to develop safe, modern, and affordable roadways.
Sir, can I have you wrap it up, please? And your time
Yes,
is,
I'm
your
right down
time
there.
is up.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I encourage the MSB Assembly to vote no on this land exchange. 15.31 acres of irreplaceable public recreational land on Big Lake should not be exchanged for expanding an easement that can be acquired in other ways and will not be needed if the Papoose Twins Road is rerouted. At a minimum, this exchange should be delayed to finish the entire road design and
Can I
budgeting
have
to
you
know what
wrap
is
it up,
best
sir, please?
for the long-term building and maintenance of Papoose Road. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Okay, is Caleb, anybody else online? No. Okay, so I'll bring it back to the audience here. Anyone else would like to testify on this ordinance? Okay, seeing no one, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And Assembly Person 2.
Yeah, I move to adopt ordinance 22-035 or 53.
Okay, is there discussion? Yes, Deputy Mayor?
So through the mayor to the manager, perhaps to Nancy Cameron. I'm in my packet. It says unnamed lake. Is that lake Big Lake or is that some other lake? Just some unnamed lake.
Through the mayor to Assemblyperson Sumner, it is not Big Lake. It is just a small unnamed lake on the Dastal Trust B property partially.
And sorry, and this the lot that we're proposing to. I get a lot of feedback. The lot we're proposing to sell, it has no road access at present.
And through the mayor, that is correct. It has no upland road access.
Yeah. Well, so in my eyes, I think that the person we're selling the land to in this, or the person that's paying us money in part for this land exchange is getting a bad deal, and the borough's getting a good deal because I don't think this is worth that much. My personal opinion of the valuation of land that is on a small unnamed lake and has no road access, probably no utilities.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, there's a little confusion. So the borough parcel has no road access. The Dastal Trust parcels is where the unnamed lake is, and that has the access for Papoose Twins, just for clarification.
So is the borough parcel on a lake?
Yes, it has lake frontage on both sides, on the east and the west, on
Oh,
Big Lake
okay.
itself. Yes,
All right.
yes.
So-
So if you look at your map, your vicinity map, you can see, it should be right behind your fiscal note. You can see the Big Lake or the borough parcel. And then there's an inset that kind of, it shows you where the parcels are, and then the inset shows you where the borough parcel is, the larger piece, the 15.31 acres, and then in Dastal Trust B parcels. Do you see those?
Yeah, I think I had them backwards actually.
So in looking at this, this is the Dastal Trust property right here on the bottom. This is the borough property here up on the right hand, upper right hand. So this is borough. This is Big Lake on either side. Dastal Trust property here, West Papoose going through. This is the unnamed lake off on the east side of that Dastal Trust property.
Through the mayor, could I get the attorney's opinion on the easement of which multiple people, it sounds like, in the area have been traveling for an extended period of time?
In the state of Alaska, the difference between adverse possession and prescriptive easements is a question of use versus possession. So if you use somebody else's land for a period of time, you could get an easement against it. If you possess someone else's land for a period of time, you get title, adverse possession. So they're related to each other. The difference is in the character of the title. The Supreme Court of the state of Alaska has ruled that's not against government property. Cannot obtain a prescriptive easement against the Matanuska-Susitna Borough for using land owned by the borough.
Well, I suppose that doesn't quite answer the question of a prescriptive easement on the Dastow Trust land for the road that might already exist. But I suppose that the question would be that could we make improvements because the prescriptive easement wouldn't extend beyond the current road surface? Is that the issue?
I believe that was addressed in the staff report. The issue is that the road gets soupy and muddy and wet because it has no drainage, bad slopes, no shoulders. And so, yes, we could assert rights for a prescriptive easement to what has been used. But in order to do improvements, as I understand it, we need more than that because there's a big hill that needs drainage, it needs slopes. So more than that would be required to actually improve the road, and that's the issue.
You spoke of a third party appraising this property. How high a hurdle is that?
Through the mayor, through the Assemblyperson McKee, it's not a hurdle. It's just another step, another cost to do that. Our code allows us to determine fair market value as the borough tax certified tax roll, which is what we typically do use. But an appraisal can be done. We would have to do an appraisal on all three properties in order for that to happen. So it's not just one appraisal, it's three appraisals at that point. And then we would have to dissect out and determine the easement value in the appraisal as well. So it's not a simple appraisal that I go to the bank and say, we just need to know the value of the land. It's more extensive than that, but it can be done, absolutely.
Do you have any idea what the cost of that would be?
I would hate to guess, but I would think that it could be maybe 10 to 15,000 potentially, just from my experience on other appraisals on vacant land for just one appraisal, minimum $5,000 or higher.
Thank you.
Sorry. Further discussion? Yes, Assemblyperson 2, go ahead.
Can we maybe hear from Terry Dolan about what kind of work needs to happen on Twin Papoose and what that means to the community back there?
Is there any objection from the Assembly regarding calling additional staff? No. Okay. Sir, please come. Thank you.
Terry Dolan, Director of Public Works. Through the mayor, the attorney was exactly right in what he said about the need for additional land in order to make Papoose Twins a year-round access for the residents that live back there. If we obtained a prescriptive easement, it would limit us to essentially the driving surface of the road. And as you know, roadways with drainage facilities attached to them are typically at least 20 feet wider than that. There would be no space for any kind of drainage facility. The borough attorney also mentioned a hill. There's a very, very steep hill that would need to be cut down to make it safe in the wintertime. The slopes involved in that would need space. So there's all kinds of upgrades that would need to be done that we would not have space for. So we really can't turn this road into a reasonably useful road that has access 12 months out of the year without the addition.
Yes, Assemblyperson Yacht, go ahead.
There's obviously been a lot of due diligence done by the staff on this. I got just a couple of questions. I think a lot of homework's been done. it's too bad that I can understand actually why they only send it out to people than 600 feet. But now that I understand better that you can't have an easement on borough land, I feel more comfortable with that. But I guess my question is, you know, how much other borough land is in the area to this that people could still have access to for recreation, right? And I have driven down this road one time, and it was not a great experience. I was not in the winter, which was good, but I could see how miserable it would be for people to get down there during breakup and everything. I went to look at it because it was a pretty hot topic item recently, and I just wanted to see it from my own two eyes. But I'm sympathized to anybody that lives down that road. I can tell you that there's no ditches, and it's not an easy one to drive. So I could see it being a problem. I would like to see the borough upgrade the road. That would be amazing. But again, I guess my question is there any other chunks of borough land in the area that people can recreate on? Are we taking away everyone's ability to still enjoy the great outdoors out there? I don't know who can answer that and who knows that area very well.
I could take a stab at it.
Yes, go ahead, Assemblyperson 2.
The property that the borough's trying to trade is not being used by the public at all. It's just a raw piece of land. That is what's being traded off. And then the other piece of land, which is Twin Papoose, those are people that live back there, and that's their main road to get back and forth to their home. And that is a very substandard road. And the only way to upgrade it is to actually own the land. And if we own the land, then we can upgrade the land. So what it looks like to me is a total benefit to the people that go back on Twin Papoose, and then also will open up all of Twin Papoose because more people will buy land and hopefully populate that area because now it's easier access. And like I said, the other piece of land is just, it's landlocked already. So like it was explained by Nancy, that you can only get there in the wintertime legally by ice or in the summertime by a boat. So I think it's a win for everybody, and I hope everybody supports it. Did I answer it? Yeah.
That helped. Thank you.
Assemblyperson Hale, go ahead.
So this public use easement that you would be purchasing from the current owner, would that extend through the property that we are considering selling them, and continue along up northward to if there was an extension if there was like an extension to Twin Papoose or anything, would there also be easement going up, extending beyond the borders of the current property that they own onto the property they're purchasing?
Through the mayor to Assemblyperson Hale, trying to figure out what you're asking. So are you talking about West Papoose Twins? Are you talking about that going further to the west?
Whichever direction that the road currently runs, would it extend? Would the public use easement that we're purchasing extend onto the property that we're trading for it?
No,
It's not. They're not. Those are not. Those are not. They're not interconnected at all. Okay. Right.
further discussion? Is there any objection? Okay, we have objection.
I can get the members in the room to go ahead and vote. Assemblymember Bernier, are you on the phone?
Yes.
When did you join us?
When 603?
6:03, thank you.
But yeah, Todd was talking.
I can't hear you, sir. Okay,
Can you repeat that?
if you can go ahead and vote on this ordinance.
Yes.
You. Madam Mayor, it passed with Assemblymember McKee opposed. Ordinance 22054, an ordinance approving a time extension through 2027 of the current land classification on borough-owned land located in Palmer South of the School District Administration Building to allow additional planning for a Palmer Little League for a potential indoor baseball facility on said land. If you're on the phone and would like to speak to this, press star 3.
I'm the land management agent. This request is for an extension. The Assembly approved an ordinance in 2020 that classified this piece of land owned by the borough for 5 years, allowing time for the Palmer Little League to seek funding for construction of an indoor baseball facility. Palmer Little League has requested the extension through 2027. The property is located in Palmer, it's just south of the School District Administration Building. The extension would allow for more time to develop plans and seek funding. The Palmer Little League has made progress, but due to the pandemic and the unforeseen effects of that, planning efforts are still moving forward. There's been some increased cost, the supply availability, so they're having to revisit some of those things, and so that's the reason for the extension. Questions? I'd be happy to answer.
Questions of staff? Yes, Assemblyperson Yunt.
Through the mayor, quick clarification. So it was granted in 2020 and good until 2025. They would like to extend to 2027
That is
due to the
correct.
delays. Okay, thank you.
Question? No? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing on ordinance 22-054. It looks like we have somebody. Hello there. See you on this. It's good to see you on this side of the borough here.
Yeah, thank you. My name is David Combs. I am the president of Palmer Little League. And yes, we did have, it was tough getting things going and really wanting to get off the ground with this. It was tough because of the pandemic. I mean, for us to try to get money at that situation was not something that we felt was right for us to go after at that point. So we took this time to really dive into our planning of the facility. We recently have been working with Agnew Beck to come up with we are in a very good stage as of right now to begin our capital campaign. We have some things going on in the state legislature and at the United States level too, trying to help us with the funding before we start talking with local businesses. And we haven't just been sitting on our thumbs, but we understand that we probably going to need a little bit more time just to show you that we are serious about having this facility. Questions I will gladly answer.
Assemblyperson Yunt.
Yeah, first off, thank you. The Palmer Little League's been around forever. There's no better place in the valley for an indoor baseball facility than Palmer. I mean, this would be absolutely awesome. Do you believe that 2027 is plenty of time? Because if not, I'm not against bringing an amendment to try to extend it. I can't speak for how people are this body would feel in 5 years. Are you confident this is long enough?
Well, as far as what I remembering when we went through this process, that we have, things going in the right direction. And if we needed a more extension at that point, we could come and ask for it. But I would gladly take that more of an extension now, if we could. That would be amazing because, we're very hopeful and we're optimistic about it happening within that time. But, always be great.
Thank you.
Assemblyperson Key.
Do you have any idea at this time what your funding capabilities are, or have you got money in the kitty, or?
We have gotten a little bit. We haven't even started our real capital campaign to really, but we have well over 100,000 sitting right now. Granted, the cost for the facility has gone up, just by about 40%, just by what we're, estimating. have the hard numbers, but it's kind of hard to come up with hard numbers right now anyways, but we believe we'll be able to get there.
So like in today's dollars, what do you think the estimate would be if we were building it tomorrow? What do you think it would cost?
Probably closer to 6.5.
And that's all coming from, that money is all coming from,
Oh, there's a number of possibilities for us to get it. This isn't the first time that this kind of facility has been built in the northern states. We do have some other examples like in North Dakota and Minnesota and all those kind of places. So it's not something new. They got money from MLB. They got money from Little League International. They got money from other professional baseball players. So they want to see something like this happen for, kids of all this age. So, and we're not reinventing the wheel, so it's a good thing.
kind of a cool civics lesson to your 600 kids or ever how many.
Yeah, since 2011, we had 250 kids in the league, and now we have over 600 for the last 2 years. So
Yeah.
we're the amount of people that we are touching right now is probably close to 2,000 in a season.